everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the 52-week movie challenge. I'm your host, Jonathan Moody, and I've got a different episode for you today. So I had to pick a foreign film, and for this episode, and for week 40. So we're really near done of the 52. That means it's almost the end of the year. Good God. But yeah, so here we go. I picked a foreign film. So I picked this movie. Let me show it to you guys. It's called Band of Outsiders. Jean-Luc Goddard. It is a Criterion film. Got the Criterion Blu-ray, and I'll tell you why I got that after I do this whole thing. So it's also called Band Apart. Year released was 1964. Aspect ratio is 1.371. Running time is 1 hour and 35 minutes. My date challenge completed was 10/4/22. 10/4, Captain. Genre was crime drama. They also have comedy in there, and then IMDb, I did not put that down because it is, even though it's got comedy in it, is not a comedy. Rated, not rated. Rated, not rated. Starring Anna Karina, Claude Brossier, and Sammy Frey. And I gave it 4.5 stars, by the way. So we'll get into that. Directed by Jean-Luc Goddard, produced and written also by Jean-Luc Goddard. I think it's based on a book novel, but I think what I heard was a lot of it was improv, kind of came up with on the set, and kind of like that. And it sort of felt that way. I would say. Music by Michael. Oh my God. Grouse. I don't know. I can't say his name right, and I think I messed that up because LeGrouse or something. Because I think got a. Let me look it up here because it's sadly got my handwriting. I don't know why I'm so terrible at handwriting. So the composer is Michael Legrand. Awards received was, and I am not going to be able to say this one, but it was like Cahir's Du Cinema Top 10 Film Award winner. Why did I choose this film? I've been wanting to watch it, you know. Have I seen this movie before? Nope. Would you recommend this film? Why or why not? Yes, I would. I loved it. That's why. Which character were you able to most identify with, connect with, and in what way? I mean, normally I just say not applicable because I hate doing it. Because a lot of times I don't feel like I connected to anybody. But in this case, I actually said Franz was like not just my favorite character, but he was probably the one that identified to my silliness, is what I kind of said. Best line or memorable quote: "A minute of silence can last a long time." Was it a minute or a moment of silence? Minute of silence. There's a good quote. A minute of silence can last a long time, a whole eternity. We'll get into that because that was a pretty interesting scene. Were you surprised by the ending, and what would you do differently? Sort of surprised. I really didn't know where they were gonna go, and but I love the ending and wouldn't change it. Where was the movie filmed? I'm guessing it was France. I know it is French, but I want to say it was France that they filmed it. Didn't say. Film locations are in Paris, France. Yeah. Yeah, it was France. They went to the Louvre and stuff. It was interesting kind of stuff. Was the film dubbed or subtitled? Subtitled. Recently, okay, did you notice any cultural differences between the foreign film and recently watched domestic films in the same genre or time period? I mean, it was very 60s, you know, and very American. So it didn't seem too much different than what even today's stuff would be like. And we'll get into that. We'll get into that. That's going to be actually a big part of it, so we'll discuss that. Anything else you'd like to add? Nope. You can buy it from Criterion. It's the only thing I'll add about that. So, here's my thing. I really, really, really dug this movie, and one of the main reasons the reason I bought it, and the reason I wanted to watch it, I hadn't even seen it before I bought it. I bought it one of the many Criterion sales from Barnes and Nobles, which they're having their next one in November. So I would suggest if you are a Criterion fan, it's half off, meaning like if it's $40 normally, it would be $20. Good deal. You can also get them on like eBay or Amazon for cheaper, used. And so, so I love Criterion, period. And we have a whole show that we do that's coming back in November. So once again, called Criterion Watch, where we review Criterion style, or we review Criterion films. And I absolutely love this, the series of films, and I was stoked that they were going to be having these movies out and available and stuff. So I had heard that Quentin Tarantino named his company Band Apart based on this movie because that's the title of it. So it's Band of Outsiders, Band Apart. Band of Brothers is a whole different thing. So Band of Outsiders. And basically the story of this whole thing is that these two guys right here, both are in love with this girl. But it's really such a weird relationship. In the beginning of the movie, the guy asks him, like, are you interested in her? Are you guys doing anything? And he's like, not right now. And then he's like, okay, because he wanted to make a move on her. But this one right here made a move first. And so the plan was that she worked for a rich uncle guy who was basically was somewhat loaded, had a lot of cash. And so they basically tried to rob this guy, but they with her help. And the first time they do it, it's not a very good success. They're idiots and leave the freaking ladder out, which I was like, wait, why are they leaving? Why don't they put the ladder up? Do they expect her to put the ladder up by herself? Like, that's kind of fucked up, considering like this wasn't her whole plan. So the people find out that the people that own the house find out, and they kind of start putting on the locks and stuff, and then just more shenanigans happens with that. Meanwhile, what I really liked about the movie wasn't necessarily the heist / robbery / stuff. My love for the film was more the relationship between all three of these people, where she is really sort of into this guy, and he's a complete dick, treats her like shit, hits her at one point, which really pissed me off. Because she's the sweetest freaking, she's just gorgeous. Sadly, she's passed away, and so is Jean-Luc Goddard, and almost everybody like in this group has, but except this guy right here. I think he's still alive. So anyway, they all kind of get together. They all apparently are learning English in a class. And I guess they're students. They look way older than students, but like she doesn't, but they do. And so they're learning English, and basically he tries to tell him you got a headache, and tell Franz, this guy, that he has a headache too. Arthur is the guy's name, that the main guy. Well, I don't know. Both those guys are sort of the main guys. So anyway, he tells her to fake the thing so they can get out of class and have a day where they actually hang out and do stuff. So meanwhile, like you kind of get a sense of who they are and what's going on and all this stuff. And I really dug it. Like I dug the friendships. I dug the fact that the one friend it is like a little meeker than the other one, but it kind of made me laugh at one point where she's like talking about him having dark thoughts and everything like that. And I think maybe the other guy put some thoughts into her head that this guy was more fucked up than he was. But he was, he's more lighter, lighthearted. He kind of just goes with the flow. He does whatever his friend kind of tells him to do. Um, and spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the movie, which I suggest you go and see, he does end up with a girl, and Arthur gets killed. And they end up like happy, like being free from everything, and sort of a happy ending. I mean, it's it didn't go exactly where I was thinking it was going to go. And I can see, like, so to go back to the cultural aspect of it and everything, I can sort of see the inspiration there. The people say that the inspiration for the dance in Pulp Fiction was inspired by this. I don't necessarily agree with that. It was a very different. Definitely had a different feel to it. And I feel like maybe he did want a dance sequence in one of his movies, and I mean he had John fucking Travolta. You're gonna have, if you get John Travolta in one of your films, you might as well put him dancing somewhere, Um, so like it was, it was fun. It was enjoyable. I liked it. I liked all the characters. I even liked the ending, which, I didn't know what was gonna happen. The cultural stuff of it sort of being very Americanized, even back then. Like they talk about comic books, they talk about Billy the Kid. I mean, it was very, like heading toward like sort of pulp culture stuff, like, Tarantino territory. And so I sort of, well, Tarantino then kind of stole these kind of things in a way, which, you can tell his influence. And the only thing I'll say though, like the robbery wasn't like the big part of the movie. This was not like a heist film where they're all getting ready and then they finally do it, then they have to whatever. This Nothing like that. This was literally that's just a part of this whole relationship between all three of these characters. I love that. Like I just adored this movie, all of this. I really enjoyed it. I had a fun time. Jean-Luc Goddard did a great job. I saw Breathless, and I do want to own it. I'm gonna eventually own it, but it wasn't. I need to give it another watch. I think it wasn't really in the mood or something, and I wasn't feeling it. I don't think at the time, but it was his first film, and like, sometimes your first film is not your best film, but like in this case, I think he got something big there. I want to check out all the stuff that he did with Anna Karenina, who apparently he was married to, for a little bit of time, and they made like 6 movies together or something or more. So he sort of helped make her become the star that she was. And I saw this interview with her where on the Criterion disc where she was talking about how she was not like she didn't like she sort of was like this 14-year-old kid in the beginning of time that needed her mom's permission to do all this stuff and be on set and all this other stuff. And so like she was a kid, which sort of makes it a little weird, but I guess in England, or not England, France. I don't know what the age of consent and all that stuff is. I don't know any of that stuff. And it was the 60s. It wasn't like this time. I'm not saying we should cancel this shit. I'm just saying that it was a time period where things were a little bit different. But still, like, I mean, if you can't cancel the fact that kings and everything had like concubines who were whatever, back in when they were like 12. You know what I mean? Like that just is history. That's just happened. I'm not saying this was right or that was right. I'm just saying that it is what it is. And so I don't know. She was old enough in this, so I don't know if that's when they got married. I think that's about the time they got married or so, is after she became obviously an adult. Probably start dating then. But he obviously thought she had something, and she does. She was wonderful. This dance sequence, weirdest fucking dance sequence I've ever seen in my life. Loved it. Loved every minute of it. The scene where they basically are silent for, I don't know, like good long while. It was like, okay, are they gonna, because they talked about a moment of silence or a minute of silence or whatever, and they took way too long, and it was just like, and then everything was quiet, not just, like normally you can hear background or something, but like in this situation, nothing. There was nothing. Took the sound completely off, which I thought was an interesting scene. I don't know, like it had so many kind of cool scenes, characters that I sort of dug. I mean, it's a movie I definitely would want to revisit, probably for like Criterion Watch, not this season, but like another season. I would definitely love to revisit it and watch it with Paul and see what we both thought about this exactly, because this is not your typical. I don't feel like this is your typical foreign film, kind of thing. It was, like I said, it felt more American than anything else. So, um, aside from that, I think that's it. So yep, here we go. We're gonna move on to the next. So week 41 is a holiday movie. So I have no idea what I'm gonna do for that. I mean, that could be anything. I have millions of holiday movies to choose from, and actually, I'm just looking at one right now that I might choose. I don't know. So I got a million holiday movies. I love holiday movies. There's some of them are the most fun. So I don't know. We'll see. Also, I was in a Hollywood holiday movie last year came out, and it was actually made, I think, the beginning of the last year, so beginning of 2021. It was made, and it was a fun little movie with I think the girl from Vanessa Williams from Candyman was in it and stuff, and everything. It was like the Christmas family reunion or something. Welcome to the Christmas family reunion, which I thought was a long title, but all right. But yeah, a holiday movie. Check that out. Uh, next week. Wow, we are flying by. We've only almost pretty soon we'll only have 10 weeks left. We've got 12 weeks left, I think. That is insane to think about. Oh God. like just like that's just hitting me right now. Like, oh my God, that's crazy. Well, anyway, not to be a damper on everybody's 2022, I will not be doing this for 2023, by the way. This is it. You're only getting for 2022 because I've got way too much other shit going on in my life. And as much as fun as this has been, and I've enjoyed every single week of it, it's every single week. And I've already got enough things that I have to do like every single week. So yeah, I'm gonna take a break at least next year. I may come back and do it again in January 2025 or something, 24 or something. I don't know. We'll see. But until then, thank you guys for checking this out. Subscribe if you liked what you see. And let me know in the comments below. Are you a fan of this movie? If not, why didn't you like it? If so, why did you like it? Let me know your thoughts. Was I wrong about anything? Sometimes I get things wrong. I'm not perfect. So I do say things sometimes, and I'm like, oh shit, I shouldn't have said that because that's wrong. But Yeah. So anyway, hope you guys enjoy this. Until then, bye.